Hello friends, welcome to the lecture on irrigation. Today we will see the definition of irrigation, what are the advantages and disadvantages of irrigation, various methods of irrigation. So let us start. So what is irrigation? Irrigation may be defined as the process of artificially supplying water to the soil for raising crops. As you know that for growing crops, water is a must. We cannot ensure the availability of rainwater throughout the year. But since in agricultural fields the crops are growing throughout the year, so as per the need and demand of the crop, we have to fulfill their water requirements. So that irrigation is a must, which ensures the artificial supply of water to the growing crops. The science of planning and designing a water supply system to the plants crops for their normal growth during the period of no rainfall with the help of dam, weir, barrage, reservoir and canal system with headworks, cross drainage works and miscellaneous works of canal like canal fall is called irrigation engineering. These are the constituents like dam, weir, barrages, reservoirs, canal systems. All these are the constituents of the irrigation engineering. So what is the necessity of irrigation? Insufficient rainfall. This is the first. Irrigation is necessary in the areas where rainfall is insufficient for the satisfactory growth of the crops and the plants. Second is sometimes there is a non-uniform rainfall. Sometimes distribution of rainfall in the zone of crop area is uneven or non-uniform. Then for growing perennial crops, some of the perennial crop requires water throughout the year. For the growth or production of the perennial crops, irrigation is necessary. You cannot ensure the availability of rainwater throughout the year, so that irrigation it is a must for the perennial crops. Then ill-timed rainfall, as and when water is required by the crops, there is no rainfall to fulfill the water need. Irrigation it is a must. Now the advantages of irrigation. Irrigation have some advantages as well as disadvantages too. So let us start with the advantages. It increases the food production, it increases the income and national cash flow, it increases the labor employment, it increases standard of living, it increases value of the land, it improves communication and navigation facilities, it also helps in domestic and industrial water supplies, it improves groundwater storage, it helps in generation of hydroelectric power, it reduces the risk of catastrophic damage caused by the drought. Here are several disadvantages like due to irrigation or excess irrigation, you may face waterlogging in a particular area. If salts are present, then the land will possess salinity and alkalinity due to excess irrigation. Ill aeration of soil, since all the voids will be filled by water. If excess irrigation it is done, then aeration will not be there. Then pollution of underground water due to use of pesticides, the water will percolate to the ground, will contain the amounts of pesticides and their residues, so it will contaminate the underground water, results in colder and damper climate causing outbreak of diseases like malaria. Why malaria happens? Due to ponding of water, there is growth of malarial mosquitoes, so in turn it is also a hazard of causing outbreak of malaria in such situations. Now let us turn towards the methods of irrigation. Superficially, briefly, there are three methods like surface irrigation, subsurface irrigation, and micro irrigation. Subsurface surface irrigation includes free flooding, border flooding, check flooding, basin flooding, and furrow methods. We will explain, we will see the terms in detail later. In micro irrigation, there is drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation. So let us start with the free flooding method. So let us see the figure. There is a main supply ditch. This is the main supply ditch, which has these subsidiary ditches, and through the subsidiary ditches, through these outlets, the crops are getting their water. So it is also called wild flooding, since no attempt is made to control the flow by means of levees suitable for close growing crops. This method is suitable for closely growing crops. Ditches are excavated in the field either on the contour or up and down the slope. So this is what the free flooding method. Second is border strip method. In this method, land is divided into a number of strips by low levees. The width of the strip varies from 10 to 20 meters and length varies from 100 to 400 meters. This is the length 100 to 400 meters, and this for this strip the width is 10 to 20 meters. In this method, water flows slowly towards the lowest end and infiltrates into the soil as it advances. So this is the main ditch, supply ditch, through which water it is being advancing, and it is being percolated as and when it is advancing. This is the border strip method. Entire land is divided into number of strips. Then this is check flooding method. This method is a modification over border strip method. In this method, water is controlled by surrounding the check area with low and flat levees. These are the levees. Levees are generally constructed along the contours having vertical interval of about 5 to 10 centimeter. These levees are connected with cross levees at convenient places. This method of irrigation is suitable for grain crops. You can see this is the supply ditch. The water it is being supplied, and these levees, these are the levees which are generally constructed along the contours having vertical interval of about 5 to 10 centimeter, and further they are connected to this connecting levees. Then next is the basin flooding method. This method is a special type of check flooding and is adopted specially for orchard trees. One or more trees are generally placed in the basin and the surface is flooded as in check method by ditch water. You can see this is the main ditch. These are the subsidiary ditches, and which are providing the water to the trees. In pictorial view, you can have an idea. This is the main ditch. These are the subsidiary ditches, and which are percolating water to these particular trees over here. Next is the furrow method. In flooding methods, water covers the entire surface, while in furrow irrigation method, only 1/5 or 1/2 of the land surface is wetted by water. It therefore results in less evaporation, less pudding of soil, and permits cultivation sooner after irrigation. Water flowing in the furrows soaks into the soil and spreads laterally to irrigate the areas between furrows. So you can see these are the furrows. Here it is the main supply ditch which ensures the entry of water, and these are the furrows or the filled ditches which are supplying water to the sown crops, which are wetting the entire soil. The entire surface of the soil, it is not flooded in this particular method, and you can have cultivation sooner after the irrigation. So I hope you have understood the methods of irrigation. I request all of you to go through the standard references which I have used for creating the PPTs. Find some free stuff on the internet. If you have any doubt, you can contact me on my email address dnpaithankarce@sanjeevani.org.in. Thanks for listening. Happy learning.